Hello, thanks for joining me. I'm Dr. Mark Williamson for the DaCCoTA project at the University of North Dakota. This is Making Magnificently Good Graphs, an introduction. This is part one of the BERD Core Special Topics Talk, number 3. Where, in this introduction, we'll kind of go over what we'll be talking about in the main talks. So the rationale behind these presentations on making good graphs is that in the scientific process, presenting results is one of the last and usually the most important step. So it's good to be able to get that right. And so making clear, clean, and appealing graphs is an important part. However, that can be kind of difficult to attain. There can also be a steep learning curve to adjusting various graphical parameters. For example, I started learning as an undergraduate graphing in R. It turns out the difference between a almost good graph and a good enough graph can often be like hours of research and work and troubleshooting. So hopefully this helps step over some of that initial hurdle. So moving on, once you've kind of got your statistical software all gathered together, it's not enough just to have them. You need to know how they work. And none of the stuff I'm going to be presenting in these talks is really new or unique. You can find most of this by just Googling it. However, that can take a lot of work to find all the pieces you need and put them together. So hopefully these talks will be kind of a repository of techniques to aid you in the attempt of making good graphs. And really think of this as not the end, but the start, this first step on the path of learning how to do these things yourself and to search out for more knowledge when you need it. So in the following talks, I'll be covering 3 software: R, SAS, and SPSS. I deem them kind of being the 3 most important ones. If you like a more of a big picture kind of pros and cons of various software, you can check out my statistical software toolkit video in here that goes more into these and other softwares. So for each of the softwares, R, SAS, and SPSS, I'll look at a variety of graphs. So histograms and box plots will be the first 2. They're good for summary statistics, and then sort of the ubiquitous bar plots and scatter plots are used for all sorts of analyses. And then I have this 5th category, which I'm kind of lumping into it, calling it other. So this will include like spaghetti plots, logistic regression plots, and then bubble plots. And then SPSS will do a few other things since some of the functionality is a little different. And then for each of the graphs, I'll cover a variety of elements. I'll start by just the very basic, how to make the graph, and then how to modify it. So for example, a scatter plot here, I'll teach you how to modify the axes as well as labels, different things with dots, lines, text, and then more aesthetic stuff like colors and shapes, and then finally sort of a catch-all other category. Now within these talks, I've also added a variety of special features which I hope will improve these talks' ability to be engaging, interesting, and then ultimately help the material stick with you. So they come in the form of quick tests that I've created in Kahoot that will come throughout the talks that you can pause on the prompt and go take it to kind of see how well you're learning. There'll be some kind of whimsical animated summaries to kind of rehash what we covered, and then some kind of future exploration prompts for you to be able to dig into code and graphs that we don't actually cover here that you can kind of explore on your own. And then finally, I have these little pop-ups like stat hacks and pitfall alerts to help kind of alert you to things that'll help you out, these hacks, and then things you want to avoid that would hurt you, like these pitfalls. So, and then also built in this, I have a series of assessments. So it'd be really helpful before you go into the main content to take a moment to do these assessments, these pre-tests. So there's R, SAS, and SPSS. You can get the link there, or there'll be links in the description below. And similarly, when you're done, please take the post-test to assess your learning. And then there's also an overall summary that kind of covers everything. So feel free to mix and match with these. If you only need one of them, one of these statistical softwares, you can just watch that video. If you want to do all three, it's great. I've tried to make them as uniform as possible, so we're dealing with multiple, not multiple, but the same data sets across these softwares. So you can see how it's done in the same example done in each software. So just some quick acknowledgements. As I said, I'm part of the DaCCoTA, the DaCCoTA Cancer Collaborative on Translational Activity at UND, and we're funded by the NIH under this award number. So if you find this useful, this benefits you in your teaching, research, whatnot, please acknowledge us in some form like I have here. All right, well, thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in the main presentation talks.